Alright, internet, we're doing the video anyway. What do you mean doing the video anyway? Well, I've been sitting here about 5 minutes. My baby's in the room next door trying to take a nap, so you might hear some crying in the background. He's alright. He just needs a nap. He hasn't rested. But that's not what we're here for. We are here to review something. You know what it is. I haven't brought it out yet, but let's bring in some things just so we can have a little background. Ooh, look at this lovely little package here. Ooh, look at this lovely little package here. Ooh, look at this lovely little package here. Alright, so this is courtesy of Tom over at Unquiet Hands. Now this is actually the first spinner I've purchased from them. The other stuff they've sent me to review, so when I purchased this, he actually sent me the pouch and the little, this guy we'll look at later, to review. But I just wanted to say, like, this is a nice little box. You know, I know I talk a lot about not wanting a lot of boxes, but it's a nice little cardboard box. I'm using this for bearings, but it's just a nice little discreet little box, and it's cardboard, so, you know, if I something I don't want, I can recycle it. I don't feel bad about getting rid of it, so I dig that. So we'll get that out of the way, though. We'll get these two in here. But first things first, dun, 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 dun. Little blackberry wheat. It's kind of a classic around here. Now this is one I might have shown on the videos before. It's kind of a you know, for my taste and what I drink, kind of a plain style beer. It's got a kind of a traditional kind of lager kind of a taste with a little bit of blackberry fruity kind of stuff. Although I think it is an ale, but American wheat ale. But it's got kind of a lager taste. Maybe that's just American wheat. I don't know. But let's just pour it. So it doesn't have like a tremendous nose, but it's a nice flavor. It's not too heavy. Great on a hot day. It is a hot day. I don't have my watch on, but we're in the mid to high 80s. Probably a decent dew point because it's hot out there. Just finished a hike up a mountain with my little boys. That's why they need to rest. So let's just have a little sip, shall we? It's just, yeah, you kind of smell that. But then you get the little bit of the fruitiness. You kind of smell that regular, what I would call beer smell. But yeah, just a little sip. That's nice. All right. So, Atrium. Ooh, what are those two colors? You know what it is. Can we first say how nice this pouch is? Now, I'm a fan of kind of like the just kind of the thick wool pouches kind of a thing. Real clean stitching. Just really well executed. Their logo on here, pretty subtle. I'm assuming it's some sort of like laser burning in there. Just a real subtle little thing. The two-tone action is nice, a nice little button. And then on the inside, can we see that? It's the same sort of stuff. I'm assuming the same sort of stuff that their little microfiber, kisses, that their microfiber cloths are made out of. So, you ready for this, internet? I don't think you're ready. Y'all get jelly. Oh, boy. Ooh, excuse me. There's that beer. Now, let's be fair for a second here, internet. This had an amazing mirror polish on it. I've had it and spun it for about a week nonstop. And it had developed a little bit of patina. I wanted to shine it up for you, but stay tuned at the end of the video, and you can see kind of some patina. I did a little warp on the top of my hike today, so I'm going to throw that at the end of this video. And under the super bright lights that I'm looking at, it's really kind of not doing it justice. You're seeing a lot of the microfiber, or like micro scratches, that you really don't see in person, especially under these lights. And again, I've had it, I've carried it, I've used it. It's going to get fingerprints on it. It is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but it's just a stunning, stunning piece. Look at that. Look at the reflection there. It's just a joy to look at. I really enjoy spinning this like on the couch on TV and just watching the reflection of the TV in the side there. Like you can see my window. See some green trees outside. Not those kind of trees, pods. So what can we say about this? Well, I think some of the things that we're going to have to talk about, we're going to need to back this up a little bit. We're going to need to crack this guy open. All right, so let's weigh this one first. Now, it does have trit slots in it, but that's not reducing a tremendous amount of weight, but it's reducing a little bit, so let's be fair, but 87.1. Bronze, again, mirrored bronze, mirrored finish, 103. So we've got a pretty significant amount of weight, but yet still super fidgetable. The density of this is something I wasn't quite expecting. There's a lot of different alloys of bronze, and I won't pretend like I know them all really well. You know, some of the bronze, you know, that you look at with something like the Compoform stuff uses one kind of bronze. The Hydra uses a different kind of bronze. Fidget HQ seems to use a different kind than what Damn Designs uses. So this seems very similar to the Damn Design style of bronze. At least from what I've experienced. So So yeah, this thing is a piece. So I will say, let's open this up here. Comes with the card of authenticity, which we love from these guys. It's just a nice, high quality like cardstock. Now it doesn't come with a lot of the extras you normally see with Unquiet hand stuff, but with the mirrored bronze, it's a bit more of a premium material. So having extra buttons and stuff in there and the extra bearings, not a huge deal. I won't say I was like disappointed in it. I would have expected to see it in there, but like it's not really a big deal at the end of the day because the spinner is what we're here for. So the weight of this thing, I started talking about it, the weight, that density being a little heavier than this. This is still, you know, if you watch my reviews and my permanent collection, I mean, this is a tremendous spinner. This is like next level. This is pretty ridiculous. So we want to be generous, but at the same time we want to acknowledge like this is a new spinner, so of course we're going to be, our hands are going to be all over it nonstop, but this is like the spinner that I want to spin right now, no questions. It's, you know, I kept trying to think of like some good adjectives to describe this when I got it, and the only thing I can think of is a slab. It just feels like a slab of metal. It's not as heavy as tungsten, obviously, but it's denser than stainless steel by a significant margin. And it just is almost like the perfect weight. As much as I do enjoy tungsten, there's no real fatigue from this. These, you know, I'm not 100% sure if I would have preferred the cupola buttons here as opposed to the canopy buttons, but the canopy buttons do work really well on here. It's polished, so it's got a really nice grip. Everything's kind of really rounded on the edges, so it's super comfortable. It spins really fast. One of the things I find with heavier spinners and almost a problem with tungsten, and this is kind of right on the edge of that, is when you get tungsten, right, it takes a little bit of momentum to get it going. So you really got to give it a really good flick. And I almost feel like there's so much mass, I can't quite get up the power and speed that I would want with a one-handed flick, right? When I whip it with two hands, you can get that kind of weight. On a really light spinner, it's easier to get that weight going. This is kind of right on the cusp where I almost feel like I can't really get it where I want to have it. Like I want to be able to whip it just a little bit faster, but it's just got that weight. But it's like right on the edge of that. So you really get really fast flicks, two-handed or like preloaded flicks. Look at the balance on that, y'all. Do you see the reflection? Shaking it all? No, because it's dead smooth. Let's try this. I haven't actually tried this with it. Oh yeah, we're moving super slow. Break both your legs, you move in slow-mo. What's that from? That's a Biggie lyric, but is that in What's Beef? No, it's something off Life After Death, but anyway. So yeah, tremendous spinner. So in spinning this as well, something that it really reminded me of, and it was about a week, almost a week before I really kind of noticed this, was just yesterday, the day before. This really actually, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of an XL Cocoon. So I'm glad I have this here because it is sort of a rounded off triangle, but we're definitely like a larger shape here, right? And it just, there's something about these kind of harder edges, the way this bronze material feels. This dip in here is very different from this dip, and in a lot of ways feels very similar. So you know how most people feel about the Cocoon, and I'm one of them. I'm up there where it's one of the best spinners. This feels like an XL Cocoon, and for 81 bucks for the mirrored bronze, it's a steal. Now again, it has a bunch of different finishes as well, so I'm a huge fan of the mirror polish, and this is a very well done mirror polish. Again, it was dang near flawless under these super bright lights, and the fact that I've had to like put a Flitz metal polish to it and kind of like try to sharpen it up a bit. You know, you can kind of see some of that, but again, we can see how good the polish is on this. It's really just an A1 piece. I got nothing negative to say on this. You know, maybe the only negative thing I have to say is I want an XL now. So now I need to look at, you can see, look at the fingerprint mirror. Look at that. There's my fingerprint, y'all. It's kind of rad. Spin time wise, it's actually pretty decent in spin time. I was actually expecting a little bit more, only because if you recall, when I did the spin time on this bad boy, we were getting like, I think I got like almost 10 minutes or around 10 minutes on this and just was not expecting it. So I know that the Atrium guys, or I should say Tom, but I'm sure it's not just Tom. He's got some people in the background, I'm sure a little bit, even if it's just a couple, or a Mrs. Tom or Mr. Tom or whatever. But yeah, that was getting like 10 minutes. I think I was getting. So on this, I actually, only on a couple spins, I got a little over 8 minutes on a table spin, 8:13 to be exact on a table spin, and 11:35 on a vertical spin. Pretty good spins. That was pretty new with the bearing, and I thought in like you know, using the bearing a little bit, getting it a little broken in, giving it some cleaning, I might be able to break that, but I haven't quite gotten there again. So, but those are still pretty respectable spin times, right? Over 8 minutes on a table spin, over 11 minutes, 11 and a half minutes on a vertical spin. It's pretty rad. And again, vertical spins, and especially, like, you really need good balance. Otherwise, the wobble is wasting a lot of energy that could go to a longer spin duration. So, but yeah, I can't, if you haven't noticed, I can't stop spinning it. Let's bring it in and kind of show the angles off a little bit. So if this is your first Atrium review, see that's more of what you can expect with that mirror polish on these faces. Look at that. I mean, look at that. Would you just look at it? Look, I can make my, like, fingernail. How do we do this? Anyway, sorry, y'all. Look at that. That just looks like, see, like that button spinning? That button's like, but the image is not really shaking. That's good. That's a good sign, y'all. See that? See how my finger isn't really shaking because the planes are all the same? It's a good sign now. So yeah, so if this is your first Atrium review, one thing's to notice, like, it's a very subtle thing, but I really appreciate the fact that it has a downward slope here. So these arms actually taper down, and it's pretty subtle, and you probably wouldn't even notice unless you really take a look, and I appreciate those real subtle differences, because that's extra machining work that they don't have to do, and the fact that they do that, even though it's subtle, because it improves the fidgetability, like that sort of attention to detail is something we love. These swoops down here, again, unlike the Arcade, where they kind of go on a couple different planes. On the Atrium, it's just one, essentially more or less one concave, rounded out finger grooves here. So no matter where I catch it, if I get it on the inside, boom. If I get it on the outside of the arm, because it's tapered down a little, my finger has an easier time grabbing it and pulling it. It's just super fidgetable, really good spin times, looks fantastic, feels fantastic. You're talking Worry Stone styles, boom. It's just smooth, it's just nice to handle. It's nice for slow spins. We could just go on and on and on about how good this is. Probably, you know, I don't want to overstate because it's still new, but probably a top 10 spinner. No joke, no question. I think I was starting to talk about how I like the mirror polish and it was so good, but they do offer other finishes. From time to time, he offers a hammered finish. He's done a blackened finish. They have a really excellent stone wash finish. I don't know if they do a machined finish. I know especially when it comes to like tungsten and some of the other stuff and the titanium ones, they have anodizing and flaming type options. They've got like a blackened tungsten, so really dig everything that's going on over there. And if, you know, again, if this is your first Atrium or Unquiet Hands review, Tom is a fantastic member of the community. He's a great guy. He's always out there supporting people. He really keeps the community involved. He, you know, asks people's opinions, so the designs are almost crowdsourced, where, you know, he'll be like, hey, what do you guys like of these 1, 2, or 3 designs? This pouch right now, he's got a little poll going up to let people kind of vote on what they think the name of it should be. Some of the names I think were really cool. I like the name that I came up with it. I won't go into it too much. But when someone puts like a naming thing out there, I don't like to just look at the spinner or whatever it is and just kind of remind me. So nothing against some of the people that were calling this like the panda pouch, right? But you just kind of look at it and just name it based on what it looks like. And for me, I don't really like to just name something based on how it looks like, because some of the most iconic spinner, right? Like this doesn't look like a Cocoon, right? But it is an excellent name for it. So if you just looked at this, you want the bronze triangle, the Bermuda triangle, the musical triangle, you know, like that doesn't work. So for me, I really wanted to look at what they've got their names kind of going off on. So Arcade and Atrium and some of these kind of very cool, you know, architectural type terms. The Atrium in particular is sort of like an open space inside of a building. So I really like sort of like the opposite. So what's enclosed space outside? And I came up with the name Pavilion, which I just thought was like a really cool name. So I know Tom liked it, and he was he chatted me, said kind of how much he liked it and he appreciated it, you know, put a little thought into it. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there just because I think that the naming convention on things, that's more of not so much to Unquiet Hands, but just something to think about. Like when someone asks for a name for something, it's easy to just look at something and come up with a name, but like put a little thought into it, you know, and really kind of push yourself. I think it's a good mental challenge, a good mental exercise, and it's good for the old brain, for the old noggin. So anywho, we're just gonna keep going on and on, and I don't want to keep going on and on as much as I do. So I just don't want this review to end because it's such a good spinner. So fully endorsed 2 awkward thumbs all the way up and out and over. They'd almost go back down again, but then we don't want to give it 2 awkward thumbs down. So like 2 awkward thumbs like this far over, like, you know, what is that, 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock? There you have it, internet. Bronze Atrium mirror polish by Unquiet Hands. Oh, it's so good. I'm gonna spin this all day. Love you, internet. Kisses.